There is a store in question here in Toronto. It's called Islamic Books. It's on Gerrard Street in the East End. It has a book on its shelves called A Gift for Muslim Couples. And our guest to the program this afternoon, Eric Brazo, purchased one of these books where you can find specific instructions on how to beat your wife. The book is meant to be a gift for newlywed Muslim couples on how to successfully have a Muslim relationship. The book contains Quranic interpretations and citations to back each one of its teachings. Eric Brazo was in the bookstore and picked it up. We talked to the owner of the bookstore. He declined to be interviewed for this show about this issue and asked us not to contact him again in the future. We thank Eric Brazo for coming in. Again, the book is called A Gift for Muslim Couple. And Eric, thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, Jim. Good afternoon to your listeners.
So what were you doing in a store looking for a book for a Muslim couple?
Well,
were you looking for a wedding gift or something?
Not exactly. I had a friend who's up in the Gerrard area, and I passed by the bookstore, and, killing some time, I walked in to kind of browse around, and I saw a book, this one, right on the shelf, picked it up, looked through the index, and I was surprised to see what I saw, so I purchased it.
Yeah. And in reading it, I'll read some of the things, and then we'll talk about them.
Sure.
Some of the more
egregious.
Egregious things. So, on conjugal relations between spouses, conjugal relations between spouses is one of the lover and the beloved. If the need should arise, it might be necessary, the book says, to restrain with strength or even threaten her. However, one should observe the limits, and one should see that he does not become unjustly cruel.
That's interesting, don't you think? That brings us back to relativism. What is relatively love or relative cruel? Or something is right or something is wrong. But here in today's society in Toronto and Canada, we have, multiculturalism, and you're okay and I'm okay as long as you do what you do and I do what I do. And no longer is there any sense of, well, that crosses a line and we just won't accept it. Now, do we accept? I know you don't, I don't, but does Canada accept some version of what this book is saying here?
Well, and I think it gets into an important place where when young girls in Montreal go to get some help from authorities, and then people who turn the other cheek and pretend that these girls aren't being harassed, if not beaten by their father, later to be found dead in a canal, because we have set up a situation where as a society, we're okay with multicultural groups doing whatever they want, and then when something goes too far, everybody's like, where does that come from? Well, maybe it comes from when Eric, by the way, found this book and he brought it to Bob Ray. What did Bob Ray and his people say?
What Bob Ray and his people said was, well, this book is just as a religious text. Oh, and by the way, the Bible has some very bizarre passages as well. So who are we to judge? And all religions are good and they're all bad in their own special way.
Let me get to some more, I think, more of the egregious stuff in this book. Page 45, the rights of the husband over the wife. Some of the examples include, she cannot leave the husband's house without permission. No, not to refuse when he calls for intercourse. And finally, she should not call him by his first name when calling him.